picked up on those pretty pink flowers.
Oh.
They're just a tiny bit.
Okay, so the
Not like split.
yeah, so they wouldn't come off easily if you tried them.
There's the fruit picker right there.
Yeah.
Come off pretty easy.
Okay, so then just put them in the fruit picker and we'll hold them. We'll hold them.
Fruit picker right there.
Yeah, as long as they come off easily.
That's a deer.
I don't know.
Something's huffing at me.
I don't know.
I'm not going in there.
You hear something huffing at you?
Yeah, something got this one. Oh, bug. Hey, there's a little bug in this one.
Well, we'll chop it out
Okay.
and put the rest in the fridge.
Oh, you're in the...
You want me to help?
No, I wanted Caspian to see it so he could see the...
Well, he'll see it. We'll take it back inside.
There. Look, you see that black bug? You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that's making all these little holes.
I don't see it.
Do you hear something huffing at you, Daddy?
That's what it is?
That's
Making
the one
a-
making the little holes.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
The phone holds it. Do you know what picks it? The claws.
The claws.
Yeah,
The claws choose who will stay and who will go.
they pick them. Like that. Yeah, like that.
All right, so I think I mentioned before in the garden tour, there are 8 trees here in the orchard, and there's 4 different kinds. So we have 2 apples, 2 cherries, 2 peaches, 2 apricots. Craig is picking the apricots off right now, and I'm gonna quickly show the rest of the trees as I'm able to. So I have to just wade through some stuff here. Actually, I think I will go... Okay. I know what I'll do. I'm gonna show, because it's like here. Because it's thick with foliage in here. Wildscape. I can't get back there easily, and I don't know what's hiding in all this grass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the peaches and the apricots up close because I'm already here next to them. And then I'll go outside the garden and show you the apples and the cherries. Here are the peaches on the trees. Pretty nice. They're coming along. Getting some color. And then over here, this apricot tree is smaller. It has never given fruit. Maybe next year. Huh? No.
Caspian, you're supposed to be sitting.
Okay, and then there's apricots. Right here on this one. Okay, and then we're gonna go outside. This is beautiful lighting, by the way. Wish all my videos looked like this.
I bet you'll be safe.
Come in the golf cart, then I'll be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, apricot trees, peach trees, playing with my peach tree. Lisa Simpson. Okay. Cherry trees, I was told by Dean that there were not very many to be found this year. So sad. Okay, and then we have these two apple trees on the end. The smaller one over here is Liberty, I believe. Alright, this little guy, or girl, is the Liberty apple tree. Last year it got some damage from, probably from a gopher. This is where the deer get their water and their num-nums. Okay, and lots of clover in here. Okay, back to the apples. And so this one's either Fuji or Gala or something like that. So we have some small apples here, and we don't have to worry about them. They'll be ready at the, like, sometime in October, I believe, in fall. So they got a ways to go yet, but they're about the size of a golf ball right now. It's hard to tell, but they're all about the size of golf balls. So yeah, we'll see how many apricots we end up with. It looks like a pretty productive tree this year. They're finally reaching the size where they're doing something. Nice! Yes, quite a few. Man, you really cleaned house there.
Those are pretty.
Look, it's an Irish one.
Oh, it's a tiny one.
We don't want you on the apricots anymore. Ooh.
What did you say?
I told the bug to move. Okay. There's a few more. Do you want me to try and get them, or do you
Yeah.
want to?
Yeah, you can try to get them as long as we're here.
I'll climb in the front. I like to climb. She wants to steal.
I know she does.
I'll get him back. Yeah.
Man, it is nice out here whenever the sun goes down. It's all nice and breezy. Why can't it be nice and breezy during the day?
Yeah. Oh, are you going to try? She wants back. She wants...
Good thing apricot trees are not too tall. I wonder if there are fruit pickers that are longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think
Oh, that's true. I feel like I've seen ones that are longer than that.
Okay. Were there any on that tree?
No. The peaches are not ready yet.
Oh, the peaches. That's why they look different.
Well, yeah, this little one is the other apricot.
Okay. And the peach ones are pretty.
They're not ready at all, no. They're still small and green. Alright, well that was a really short tour, but there were not many trees to show you, so. I'll take you out to the garden another time to see how that's all going. But have a good night. We're gonna get these kids to bed. Bye.
Do you want to leave this here, or put it?
You're doing so good standing while you're pouting. Here you go, just for you.
I think what's gonna happen is tomorrow I will come back to these. I'm not sure what the proper way to deal with this is. We washed them in the outdoor sink, or I mean in the garage sink. And so now I'm laying them to dry on a kitchen towel inside. And I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but we thought about putting them in the fridge, but I said I don't want the bugs to get out in the fridge. You know, if they're gonna get off the fruit, they should be not where there's other food. I thought that made more sense. So anyway, I think I'll deal with these in the morning. No, I know I'll deal with them in the morning, but how I deal with them, I'm not sure. There's quite a few that have like like bug damage on them, but they're otherwise fine. So I think all the ones that are the most damaged, I will cut the bad spots off and maybe cook those pieces, cook the rest of those and make it into something. And then the ones that are not damaged, then we can save for people to eat fresh. So I think that's what we'll do. See you tomorrow. All right, so it's the next day, and I've separated out our apricots from the tree into two groups. So they have this group that I feel comfortable just putting in the fridge and trying to wait a week on, since Dean and Brenda are in California right now, so they won't see these when they're fresh. And then all these guys are pretty damaged, so they're gonna need to be cut up, get bugs out if they're in there, and handled today. So this is just other fruit. This is not what I'm working with right now. But so this is quite a bit to use, possibly once we get the bad spots off. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is chop up some apricots and put it on our cereal today. Okay, so we had the apricots on our granola at breakfast. And now I'm cutting up the rest of them. I'm going to make an apricot crumble. I've been wanting to make some kind of fruit crumble for a long time. And now we have a bunch of apricots to use. So I'm going to do that. But last night I was looking for a recipe, and I didn't really see one particular recipe that I liked. So I'm going to do kind of like a mixture of 3 or 4 different recipes. So I will leave one of the more okay ones that I found in the description for you guys in case you want a recipe to follow and you don't want to make one up yourself. But I kind of just gathered what I needed from each one. So I'm fine with doing it that way. I think I might have extra apricot, more than I thought. I can make a third thing. Alright, so what I'm doing here, even though you can't see it right now, I have apricots in a pot to boil for a little bit, and I'm going to add about a tablespoon of raw cane sugar, and add some cinnamon, so I added some water to that, and now I'm gonna get that cooking. And then whenever I'm done with that, whenever it seems like it's mushed down quite a bit, then I'm going to puree it. Just because I like the texture of a pureed fruit dessert better than chunky, so I'm going to do it that way. Most of the recipes that I saw wanted you to either use canned apricots or just to chop them in big pieces. And I don't know, I don't have very many texture issues, but that's just not a texture that's pleasing to me in a dessert. I don't know who else is like that, but that's how I feel about it. Stuff like pudding and cheesecake and stuff that's like rich and creamy, but it doesn't have solid pieces in it. I prefer those things. Cheesecake is my favorite. So let that go for a while. The topping of this one though, it's gonna be a mixture of whole wheat flour and oats. It calls for rolled oats, but again, this texture thing, it's not like I can't stand it, but I prefer a softer, finer texture. We're gonna make self-rising flour because I don't have any. And we're also going to use whole wheat flour because I have that and I prefer that, just nutritionally and stuff. Flavor-wise too. To make our self-rising flour, you're going to need 1.5 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons baking powder, and I got this aluminum-free one from Thrive Market. And you're going to need 1/4 teaspoon of said kosher salt, but this is kind of a chunky Himalayan salt, so I'm going to go with it. I'm not going to worry too much about being exact with that. I know baking, you're supposed to be more precise, but hasn't often been a problem, so do that. And this is actually, I'll show you, this is the flour that I ground up. You remember whenever I did the video of us visiting Elaine and I told her my problem about my soft white wheat, how it was just terrible in the stuff that I was baking? Well, she said it's most likely that I don't have it ground fine enough. So she let me borrow her grain mill and ground up my wheat berries with it. And yeah, it's been pretty good. So here's 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Whew, you go in your face. You know how it like puffs out of the bag whenever you're closing it? Okay, here's 1/4 teaspoon of Himalayan salt, pink salt. Okay. All right, and now we'll mix it all together. All right, I got my 1/2 cup of rolled oats. But I'm going to blend them. And I do the same thing whenever I make baked oatmeal. I just don't leave the oats whole. I blend them up so they're more of a coarse powder. All right, so I have some butter melting in the microwave. It can also be done on the stove. I do both. I'm gonna do about 1 teaspoon. Who am I kidding? A little bit more. Of vanilla to the top crumbly mixture, because that's what it said to do, but you know what? I'm also going to add some to the apricots. Because I like vanilla. And I feel like recipes that call for only 1 teaspoon of vanilla, I just don't ever taste it. I need more vanilla. So, it's kind of strange to me that this recipe, I mean, I've changed like basically everything about it at this point, but it's strange to me that it calls for vanilla in the top crumbly mixture. That doesn't make sense to me, but we'll go with it. Also, I think I would have added butter to the apricots. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this again a different way another time. Also, kind of annoying, I don't have a kitchen scale. So when it tells me, when the recipe tells me how much butter to add to this recipe, how much butter to add in grams. That doesn't work for me. I don't have a kitchen scale. So I looked up the conversion on my phone, and we'll see how it all works. I'm kind of taking more creative license here, obviously. Iris is on the floor playing, so I'm just making sure she's not finding anything to eat. Yeah, I'm just seeing how this goes. I feel like this needs more. Oh, that's right. Need to add my oats to it. Oats going in. Yeah, I knew it didn't seem crumbly enough. I knew it. There we go. That looks more crumbly. I'll have to see this. It's looking more crumbly now. It was just looking too smooth and perfect with just the self-rising flour. So let me also say, I am not an expert in the kitchen, like at all. Anything that I do that I mess up, it's purely my fault. So I'm just stubborn like that, I guess. Okay, so let's look at how this stuff is doing. It's doing pretty well. It's cooking quickly. And when it's done cooking, see, a lot of people's only option would be to put it in the blender. Hot, steamy, in the blender. Blend it up. And that just seems like a burn waiting to happen. So, if you have a stick blender or an immersion blender, it's also called, I would use that. That's going to be your best bet. I love my stick blender to pieces. So I'm going to be using that for this. And I think I'll stop it right there. That's a little bit more of the texture I'm going for. Kind of just like a thick jam. Although, what I am going to do, instead of it being chunky, I do want it to still be solid. So I'm going to take just a little bit of cornstarch, and this is just me playing around with it. Cornstarch is not part of the recipe. I got this from Thrive Market as well. And when it's up to me buying corn-based products, I'm always going to choose organic, non-GMO, because at this time that's something that I really believe in. So let's put in, this measuring spoon is 1.5 tablespoons, just like we used for the baking powder and the self-raising flour. So let me see how that looks after I stir it in. I will let you know how this turns out. Could be a terrible idea, but I know that cornstarch is used to thicken things, so I think I'm going to do another 1.5 teaspoons, just because I already have that spoon dirty. I'm going to stick with it. Also, I'm doing this all out of order and everything, but I'm going to get my oven preheating. Check the temperature. It was 180 Celsius, which translates to about 156 or 356 Fahrenheit. That seems a little strange. Okay, I'm trying to decide if this is good enough on the cornstarch or if I want to put another 1.5 teaspoons, because I have to remember that the topping is going to go on it. That's going to soak into it and firm it up a little bit. What do I want to do? Oh, also, okay, also. Here's another thing that I need to add to this topping because I forgot. If I practice real hard, I'll be much better at this, but I'm not right now. Okay, so it calls for half a cup of sugar. I don't think I'm gonna do that much. And the way I like to think of it is, what if I wanted to have some of this for breakfast? Do I really want that much sugar first thing in the morning? No, I do not. And I don't want my kids to have that either. So I think when you consider, I mean, you know, if you're considering, okay, I'd like to have this dessert for breakfast as well, I'm gonna go with like half the amount of sugar. And some people may say, no, it's a terrible idea. Don't do that. Don't sacrifice on the flavor. I really don't care. I don't care. I prefer less sugar. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do about a 1/4 cup of sugar in this topping. And squeeze it all together. And it's going to be fine. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be just fine. So. This tree is making good apricots, and you know what? This topping smells so good. Oh, I just want to eat it all by itself. Oh, so good. Okay, so let me wash my hands.
Hi.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna put some in my little dish. And I was right. I do have roughly half of what I made left over. So there's that. And then here's in the dish. Okay, so I'm gonna put this topping on. I have a plan for that other half of the puree. I have a friend who had some dental surgery done last week, and she can only eat soft foods for a while, so why not share the wealth here? I'm sure she'll enjoy that. Because you can really do anything with a puree. I mean, put it on ice cream, put it, you know, mix it with yogurt, different stuff like that. She could eat it on its own. I mean, that's also true. Okay, so this looks beautiful, but we still have to bake it. So I'm gonna put it on a baking sheet because it will spill over. So while we wait for the oven to finish preheating, let me taste some of this stuff. I'm gonna add a little bit more sugar to the actual fruit. I only added a tablespoon, or a little bit more. I could eat it as is, but I'm not sure if that's other people's preference. So for my friend, I will. Oven is hot. So for my friend, I'll put a little bit more sugar, probably another tablespoon, and I'll see how it is after that. Okay, so I added probably close to another tablespoon of sugar to that puree. I'm gonna call it. I think it's good. It's still a little bit on the tart side, but I think that's okay. I think the mixture of it is fine. I'll show you our finished product whenever our apricot crumble is finished baking.
Now I have this guy. Yeah, I'll have this guy. Wait, how red
joining us today and last night. We'll see you again in the next one.